So what is going on, guys? I'm Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video where today we're going to be taking a look at even more intel we can find in zombies, this time in the map Satellite, and we may look at a few others as well, but I want to focus on Satellite because this is a very interesting map. When it comes to the Onslaught game mode, as we know, the campaign, zombies, Onslaught is zombies in a way. It's that mode on multiplayer maps, but it is all tied together, so the storyline of our Onslaught maps ties in to what happens in Die Maschine. It is all taking place in the same universe. We've had a look at other Onslaught maps such as Nuketown. I've done a full video on that. If you weren't aware, it actually talks about Eddie. Richtofen was at Nuketown 84. I've also covered the Cartel map, which speaks of Raul Menendez's involvement in zombies, as well as one of our newly introduced characters who is Stitch. So we have all of these people tying into the zombie storyline, which makes the intel on each and every one of these Onslaught maps pretty important. Also, quickly, we are at 666,000 subscribers. If you guys aren't subscribed on the channel, our next big goal, I guess, is 670,000. Could we hit that before DLC 2 drops? If you aren't already subscribed, go ahead and do that if you want to. It really does just help me out, but let's get into this. So, Satellite. On this map, as with all of them, we can find 3 different pieces of intel. You get these from killing the elites. The first one is called Angola Breach Report, and it reads October the 10th, 1984. Memorandum for Office of Requiem Directorate of Science and Technology. Subject, Angola Breach. 1. Dimensional breach identified and confirmed in Angola, South Africa. Exact site of breach identified as redacted, the location of a downed KH-9 recon satellite. Area has been locked off and quarantined. Recommend Office of Requiem send in a strike team to assess the situation. 2. At the time of the breach, locals from a nearby town have been witnessed scavenging materials at the site. One of the scavengers, a local adolescent named Amit, had successfully recovered photint from the satellite. After I located the boy, I was able to provide him with monetary incentive to sell them to me. It is unclear how this was missed when our salvage team was at the site. The intel is attached with the report. 3. The photint consists of 2 satellite reconnaissance images from 1983. The first photo is from the Project End Station facility in Morasko, Poland in the month of August. The second photo is from September and shows the facility surrounded by a military convoy. It appears this convoy is Spetsnaz Group Omega before redacted. While it's unfortunate this intel wasn't recovered sooner, at least we've secured it now. It is a miracle this has been kept out of the public eye. Atticus. And then on the next 2 documents we see the intel that Atticus has submitted. The first one is called Morasko Satellite Capture 0883, and written on the back of this picture it says KH-9 satellite image from August of 1983, no suspicious activity at or around Project End Station in Morasko, Poland. Only traffic to the site is a usual fare, Polish youths and local vagabonds. But then we see a month later, this is another image from the KH-9 satellite, this time in September of 1983, where it says enhanced photo reveals a military convoy on road approaching the facility, identified as the Spetsnaz Group Omega. So the crashed KH-9 satellite that we find in the map Satellite, this right here, was surveying Project End Station, our zombies map on Die Maschine. In August of 1983, everything seemed normal. The facility was abandoned. It was just being used by settlers. But then, a month later in September, that is when the Omega Group arrived and reactivated the cyclotron, causing these zombie outbreaks to appear across the globe, including the one that's happening right here in the desert, at the location of this crashed satellite. So not only is this satellite in multiplayer, not only is it a part of that storyline, but it's also involved in zombies because it was watching over the Die Maschine area. But that isn't the only thing though, because you may have noticed that the location of this map is Angola. Depending on how familiar you are to the zombie storyline, Angola is a location of one of our previous zombies maps that was Buried. Angola is a pretty big country in Africa, but we know that both Buried and Satellite take place in the province of Namibia. It's actually only an area of 500,000 kilometers squared, which is still pretty big, but we can get an even better idea of where these 2 maps take place because if you just look at this area, the only real sandy part is right at the bottom. So Buried and Satellite have to take place somewhere down here. They can't be too far apart, meaning our zombies map Buried and the Onslaught map Satellite are relatively close to each other. Now of course there are a few things that I should point out. The first one being Buried took place on December the 31st, 2035, whereas Satellite is in 1984. Also, of course, different universes. But what is quite interesting is the main reason for our Victor's characters travelling to Buried in the first place is it was the location of the rift. If you watch the Buried intro cutscene, you can see the massive opening in the ground, the gateway to Argotha, and the reason Requiem are at Satellite is to stop the rift, the anomaly that they are trying to close.
Enough walking for today. We set up camp here. In case you boneheads have forgotten, the world is broken. Very broken. The dead walk the earth, and what remains of civilization is at the mercy of forces we barely understand.
What makes you think we're gonna find something different at this new place?
I don't know that we will, but at least we'll be sure.
Sure of what, exactly?
I don't know.
His memory's going again.
Your name is Russman. Russ Man.
That my first or last name?
We don't know. You're just Russman. Yeah, anyway, you're a former operative from Broken Arrow. You've been walking the Earth since the, incident.
Yeah. I think I remember. The town.
That's right.
That's where you found us!
When we met, you already had your lapdog in tow.
What do you mean, lapdog, huh? I'm the only one who knows what to do!
Don't talk stupid, Stu. All you know is whatever the German tells you to think.
I don't think you're in any position to ridicule Mr. Stuhlinger, particularly given your own proclivities.
You better watch your mouth before you say something you regret, boy.
Enough! We need to remember why we're here. We've all been jumping through hoops for reasons we don't fully understand.
Fully understand?
All right, for reasons we don't understand at all. Point is, we do it. We keep moving, we keep fighting. It's what we do, day in, day out. If you really need a reason why we do this, I'll give you one. We do it because doing something, anything, is better than doing nothing.
The rift is less than one day's travel. We move at dawn.
What if we don't find answers?
Then we'll just have to ask more questions.
Watching that again after not seeing it for a very long time kind of brought a tear to my eye. It makes me appreciate how good the transit crew really were. I can remember when they were first introduced to us and no one really was keen on them, but by the time we got to Buried, they were pretty much a fan favourite. But getting back to the topic of the video, it's a pretty cool coincidence how Buried was the location of the rift, and now in our new timeline, a rift has appeared near to the location of where Buried was. Obviously we can't see Buried from the map satellite because it takes place underground, but just think how cool it would have been if Treyarch could have put a small Easter egg in here where we could have seen the above section of Buried, all of those mining structures or the pylon. That would have been a cool Easter egg to see. But yeah, these two maps are pretty much next to one another, albeit in alternate universes. That's not to say the above section of Buried won't exist though. The underground section won't, because the whole reason that was teleported there was due to the rift in our original timeline. We are now in a different one. Nevertheless though, still a cool thing to think about. So anyway guys, there we go, that is it. That is all I have for you for today's video. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, you know what to do. Drop a like rating if you want to. If not, it's totally fine. Thank you guys for watching anyway. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, goodbye.